Production 65013, scene 1319, take one.
All right. Do you think that the action you took in removing General MacArthur will have any effect on the MacArthurs of another time?
It will have an effect on the military until, if we should accidentally get into another war, and we'll have the same experience, whoever's present, because you'll have a general in that layout that'll have the same disposition and the same way to work, and he'll be using MacArthur as an example. Up until that time, we won't have any trouble.
Well, do you think that he will, the general will be using MacArthur as an example, or will he be afraid to do what MacArthur did?
Now, you never can tell. You'll have to wait and see what kind of a general we've got and what he's trying to do. But you can be sure that if we have another emergency, if we should have another emergency and war should come, you'll find some general, or it doesn't have to be confined to the general. You'll find some general of the Army or general of the Air Force or some admiral of the Navy who think he's bigger than the president. They always do that, and you can't help it. It's happened in every war.
You don't think that he will be frightened by the fact that once a President Truman fired a General MacArthur?
No, he wasn't frightened by what Lincoln did to his four generals.
Very good. Now, if you had the MacArthur incident to do over again, what would you have done differently?
Beg pardon?
What would you have done differently if this whole thing started all over again? What actual damage did General MacArthur's conduct caused the nation to suffer? I think that General MacArthur's conduct harmed us in Korea.
I'm not sure about that. I haven't given that enough thought to tell you, but whatever it did, it didn't keep us from doing what we had to do in Korea.
You think it stretched out the war any?
It may have. I can't say anything as to that at all because I'm not in a position to tell you. I don't know. But I know that it didn't help any in Korea. You can be sure of that.
We were in the midst of a war, and of course a nation needs solidarity in time of war. When this thing happened, do you think this hurt us at the home front? Did you plan to repair your relations with MacArthur by offering him another major assignment at that time?
No, I did not. I was through with him.
Could you tell us what your plan was?
I didn't have any plan. All I wanted to do was to get rid of him and the trouble he was causing me, and I did that, and that's all there was to it.
There's a difference between, you say you never fired him. You think that his ambition was really tied in with his burning desire to be president. Did you regard, or do you regard MacArthur as outdated or outmoded for these modern times, his kind of thinking?
No. No, I do not. The handling of a program of that sort, unless the military approach radically changes, it's necessary to have men in charge of these things in the field, and it's necessary to have chiefs of staff who understand what it's all about, who can advise the president on the military situation as it develops. We're talking now as to a case of an emergency, which I hope will never come.
How do you think he handled his Japanese administration? Did he fall behind the times? Was he modern in thinking in that sense?
No, no. He handled his position as the protocol called for, in his position as the commanding general in charge of the troops to see that Japan implemented the treaty that they had signed.
Do you think he did? Would you describe what kind of a job you think a good job actually in Japan?
Yes, he did a good job in Japan.
Now, just something that happened once, did we not have to replace some of his key civilian advisors to revise and curtail some dangerous economic policies being effected in Japan?
Yes, we did.